What's going on, and welcome into Pels and Whistles right here on the Believe Network. I'm Daniel Salerson alongside my partner in crime, Rel Myers. And boy, do we have a lot to get to for the New Orleans Pelicans. And first, I have to apologize for us not being available the first 3 days of this week. It is all my fault. I was busy moving my house from New Orleans here to Georgia. And so I had to tell Rel that I was wiped, and it was all my fault, but we are back. But Rel, the good thing is while we were gone, this team kept winning.
Yeah, we're back. The Pelicans are back. It's been a wild ride these last five or so games. 5 game winning streak now. It's gotten to the point where right now I would have trouble recalling what teams we just played. I'm just like, I don't know. We're number one. Nothing else
I know
matters. We're at the top.
they all come together. I just had to look. I was like, who do we play before the Pistons, and who do we?
Yep.
You had the Nuggets, you had the Spurs. I mean, it's been an
Yeah.
incredible ride for this Pelicans squad, and that means, Rel, you can't take off that hat until this team loses. So you're riding the Pelican hat once again, or a
Yeah.
turkey for those that don't know what a Pelican is. So
Oh
I'm
man.
glad.
Well, now I'm wondering, I didn't wear the hat to the games, so do I need to keep that going? Wear the hat on the pod, but don't wear the hat at the game. Like
Yeah.
the superstition, there's levels to that sort of thing. So I guess technically I can't wear it to the games.
Yep. No washing clothes either. Whatever. You have to wear the same clothes on the podcast, same clothes of the game. No washing it. Like, your wife will understand, right? If you just smell
She
for
won't.
until they lose.
She will not understand.
Well, you got to make her. This is crunch time. This is an important part of the season for the team, especially these next couple days. So
For
you're gonna
sure.
have to you're gonna have to make sure that all those superstitions that we have here, they have to stay intact. So she'll understand, right? Just for the
She
weekend, get us through the
she may not
weekend.
understand, but she will roll her eyes. Her birthday's actually this weekend. It's on Sunday, and we're playing the Suns. And when the schedule came out, I was like, I don't
Mm.
know, but we're gonna make it work.
Does she want to spend her birthday at the Smoothie King Center?
She does not. I didn't even offer. I already know the answer. So she's gonna go to like brunch or something with her parents. I'm gonna go to the game, and we're gonna go to a nice dinner later that evening after a
I,
win.
I love the compromise. That is fantastic. She gets the brunch with the parents. That's very good. And then you can take
Yeah.
her out to a nice dinner afterwards while you see the Pelicans move further and away from the Suns in the Western
Yeah.
Conference standings. So I love
By
it.
then we'll be at least, a game and a half or so ahead of them, maybe two and a half. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into this a little bit. I mean, it's been fun. I mean, there's no
Yeah.
doubt about it. This is the first 5 game winning streak since the 2018 year. At the very end of the season, I'll never forget this, because the
Yeah.
Pelicans most likely were getting in, but you didn't know what seed they were going to get, and everyone
Right.
was hoping for the Blazers. I think everyone recognized that that was the matchup. If the Pelicans were going to be a 6, 7, or 8 seed,
Mhm.
that the Blazers were going to be the best matchup for them. And they won all 5 games in a row to end the season, along with being the Golden State Warriors on the road, and
Yeah.
secured that 6 seed in a 3-way tie. And then you know what happened the rest of the way, as they upset the
Nuts.
Blazers and then got the second round. So the good vibes from the last 5 game winning streaks are pretty similar, which is good.
For
Um,
sure.
but this is a different team than that one, obviously. But it's hard to put into words, Rel, what they're doing right now, and the fact that they are at the top of the Western Conference.
Yeah. There's times where I don't really grasp what I'm watching. Like, how are we doing what we're doing? We haven't seen Brandon Ingram in any of these last 5, 6, or however many games. Don't really know when we're gonna see him again. Not sure what the timeline is on Herb and his return, but we just got Najee back, and as soon as we get Najee back, Jose's got a rib contusion, and it's like, here we go with the contusions again. But just the way that they're playing while they're missing multiple starters is it's awesome to see, and we keep talking about how stacked they are because it's on display every night. And these games this weekend, especially if Chris Paul has returned right on time for the
Hmm.
Pelicans, but I think we're up for the challenge, and it would be it would be understandable if we maybe split the weekend with them. If we lost both, it would not be understandable. But if we won both, it would be great. It would be awesome. Especially, get some momentum going out on the road, 2 games in Utah, and then we got to go to Phoenix after that.
Yeah.
But I'll be happy that the Phoenix series will be over at that point until, maybe in the Western Conference Finals or something.
Yeah, I know we were talking earlier. We talked about these games being important for seeding wise, but we were talking about, if you're fourth or fifth or trying to get a first round. Now you're talking about if the season was ending today, these would affect if you're the number one seed or the number two seed with the Phoenix Suns. And the fact that you're playing them three times within the next week and two of them at home, it's a very important. It's kind of like a mini playoff series,
Yeah.
honestly, with two here and then you go back for one after you play the Utah Jazz. Utah's
Yeah.
come down to life a little bit, but they're still a very good team. They just beat the Warriors. Thanks to our good friend Nikhil Alexander Walker with a nice steal last night.
That was an
The winner.
insane finish to that game.
That was an insane finish, and I'm glad they didn't call a foul on Nikhil. I was worried that the way Jordan Peele fell down,
Yeah.
they were going to call a foul, but that was a clean
Yeah.
swipe by Nikhil, and happy for him to get the Jazz to win. But let's go back a little bit to the Detroit game. We're not going to really break down what happened in the game. They won 104-98. Obviously, it
Mhm.
was one of those games that the good news is you got to win. Probably one of the best games that they played, but some games you're just not going to have it every single night. But a couple things stuck out to me, and most of them involved Najee Marshall.
Yeah.
Him coming back, him dropping 17 points, him knocking down a few threes. But the thing that stuck out to me, which I really think provided the spark for this team, because they got off to a pretty slow start to Detroit last night,
Yeah.
but the fact that when Zion got tackled for the 80th time in the game by Detroit, that he went over and said some, gave a little shove, and then that caused a little bit of a kerfuffle, and then everyone was fine. But I feel like that sparked the Pelicans a little bit, and the fact that Najee was looking out for his guy, I think really speaks volumes about where this team is at right now.
Yeah, I think he had a quote in his post game presser where he said that he feels like he's tougher than everyone, and I love the confidence. I love that he is always going to stick up for his guys, and they were really like, I understand that you can't do much against Zion, and you feel like you got to wrap him up, but there's a way for you to wrap him up without injuring him potentially. So I absolutely appreciate that Najee stepped up and was like, hey, like we're not going to have too much more of that. And even when the screen was set on Jose and Jose got bumped and ended up getting hurt, you look at Najee and he's just kind of like, okay,
Yeah,
like I see what we're doing here. And so the whole
right.
night we're watching him and we're like, I don't know, if we don't get this game over with soon, he might actually hit someone. He could get suspended. Like we just got to get out of here. But I appreciate that there was no malice in the blender brawl last
Uh,
night.
I I was about to say this wasn't the Pistons bad boys or they were just clearly decking
Yeah,
people, but it,
yeah.
it was it was a little physical with them throughout most of
Mhm.
the night. And you had Bogdanovich get ejected. I think that might have been the quickest ejection, like
What was that
two
about?
technicals in half a second. I mean, that's quite
Seriously.
impressive to get. I don't. You say the magic words, and that's all you need.
I
It's
haven't had
again.
the chance to rewatch,
I
and sometimes
know.
I go back and rewatch the other team's broadcast, and I still have no idea why he got ejected.
I think it was so quick that I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
See ya.
cool.
But
Later.
the one thing that stuck out to me too is I think it was Pro Pels Talk that showed the video of Najee going to the ref and going, "If one of your refs got punched in the face, wouldn't you go after them too?" And I thought that was great. I mean, I mean, of course you're going to get a technical. I mean, it's just the
Yeah.
nature of the NBA.
Mhm.
But that was his justification. Look, your boy goes down. I'm going to go after and protect him, and I think everyone would do the same thing. So
That's an excellent
I
point.
I think that earns the respect, and they all have the respect of each other. But Zion looking at Najee and Jose and how much they have his back, and again, it just proves how comfortable this team is with one another. And I want you
Yeah.
to find me a team. And I know you watch a lot of games, and I try to watch as many as I can. But when you're watching these teams, you don't see the chemistry as much. Again, we could be biased because we watch this team a lot more than any other team,
Yeah.
but it's night and day different than a lot of these teams is how unified it is, and it's pretty rare that that happens not only in the NBA but just around a team in general, how much fun they have playing with one another.
Yeah, I feel there's definitely some bias, and I do try to watch a lot of other teams. But what I'm not seeing from the other teams is a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Like I'm not
Mhm.
looking at their socials. I don't see any of their docu series that the other teams are putting out. But um, I think there's the word special keeps coming up a lot. I think there's really something special going on with this team, and I'm sure other teams have got good chemistry too. But it's like they've kind of it's like lightning is striking twice.
Right.
It's last year it was the first strike, and this year it's another lightning strike. So, um, kudos to the front office and to Willie Green and his coaching staff. Man, they're really putting something together over there. And for us to be where we are, still maybe playing half of our games fully healthy. um, that's huge. That's huge, and so I think they're going to continue to build on that.
And you're taking care of business at home. You've only lost 3 times inside the Smoothie King Center. We talked about this on previous podcasts where
Yeah,
there are times that you're barely at 500 finishing the year at home.
yeah,
And one, it talks about the talent of this team, but two, there are butts in the seats as well. And
for sure.
that's not insulting anyone that hasn't been to a game in the past years. You understand, when the team is losing, there's less likely to have more, fans in the stands. So
Yeah,
the fact that they are appreciating what this team is doing and the fans are packing the blender and providing a great atmosphere, no matter if it's a Monday against the Oklahoma City Thunder or a Wednesday against the Pistons.
yeah,
These players are fueled by what's going on in the stands, and I feel like they really appreciate what's going on, and I think kind of works both ways. Well, the fans are appreciating what the team's doing, and the team's appreciating
right.
what the fans are doing by showing up.
Did you happen to see the tweet yesterday from Legion Hoops, and they were showing how much Pelicans tickets were on TickPick specifically?
Yeah, I
Did
was
you see
wondering what
that?
angle they're going at with that.
I think that their intent was malicious. Excuse me. I I responded to someone in the replies. Not really sure if they were being like sarcastic about the post or not, but I responded to them. I said, "Hey, look, this isn't an official ticket partner of the team. This is all third party sellers. The team's already got their money, and some random people are just selling tickets for $4. Like that doesn't mean anything really." So I just feel like they were posting that kind of to say, "Oh, hey, nobody wants to go see them, not even for $4." And it's like, and so I feel like it didn't go the way that they thought it was going to go. So if you look at the quote retweets, it's like, oh, this is actually a really good thing. People who don't have a lot of money can
Yeah,
go and see an NBA game because it
right.
shouldn't be a rich person's outing, and you can sit in the lower bowl for 41 bucks, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. No, I didn't know if it was Legion Hoops has a deal with TickPick, and that was their way of
They
saying, "Hey,
must.
if you go on TickPick and you can get a
Yeah.
$4 ticket to see one of the better teams of Western Conference, then that part is fine." But of course, because this has been such an issue in the last few years that you immediately think this is an issue. This is
Yeah.
something that they're trying to attack the team with. And I guarantee if you go on any other team's website, there are tickets for $1 because these people buy these tickets up front and then aren't
Really?
able to sell them. And then they're just trying to get a couple dollars back from it. And you're right. That's the
Hmm.
biggest misconception about secondary and third markets is that the tickets are already sold. So when you're
Yeah.
talking about people
It's
thinking,
done.
oh, no one's buying the tickets to the Pelicans games, the Pelicans made their money on the ticket
Yeah.
unless someone got free tickets and then sold them, which you're not supposed to do. Um,
Right.
they were purchased already, and
Yeah.
so attendance has not been a problem this year for the Pelicans. And so I hope no one took it as if that's where they're going to going with this. Then
Hmm.
you pick any other team right now. Again, no offense to the Pistons, and you do a Wednesday night against the Pistons. I guarantee they're going to be $4 tickets no matter where you go. And so
Yeah.
it's I hate that argument. I've
Yeah.
never liked it. And the people that fall don't fall for it. A little PSA to our fans here. Don't fall for the bait. That's
We
just
get after it, man.
that's a
We just
lazy way of trying to attack a team for maybe
yeah.
lack of attendance. But I guarantee you, every single team, if you go through the list, because like if you look at the ESPN scoreboard every night, it shows tickets as low as. You go
Mhm.
through every team, including the good ones. There are going to be tickets as low as $5 for the best teams. I bet you the Celtics have some somewhere when
Mhm.
it's a team that's not the Houston Rockets come to town. I guarantee you there's tickets for $3 for people to say, hey, if you just want to go to the game, go to the game. We need to make some sort of money out of it. So
Yeah.
I'm not falling for that trap anymore. And no one else should be falling for it either.
I'm looking at the rest of Legion Hoops tweets, and they're talking about how the Pelicans have now won 5 straight. They're 10-2 over the last 12 games, and then they say, "Don't sleep," with the eye emoji and the flame emoji, and it's like, you guys are sleeping yourselves, all right?
Yeah.
You you just woke up.
And also
So,
stop. Why are people so obsessed with tickets and attendance and like this team is fine as far as financial situation goes.
yeah.
I mean, these most of these owners have money.
Mhm.
Probably all of them have money. So
People are
like when
very
you talk
ignorant
about
about like the Pelicans specifically. Like there
yeah,
will be no move to Vegas or
no,
Seattle or wherever. Like nobody, like these casuals, these teens on the internet, they have no idea that Gail's got it written in that like when she's gone, the team stays. Like, and that's it.
there's a succession plan. Dennis Lausch
Yeah.
is there, and he's already talked about he's not moving the team. Why would they move the team? Number one, again, I didn't want to be talking about this on this day, but we went down a bad rabbit hole, Rel. But it's Yeah, it's just so frustrating
This
to
is what
with
happens when I don't have any notes, man. We're just going.
No, but
Oh,
hopefully fans recognize, what this team is doing. And you had a tweet earlier about how you're scoreboard watching 24 games into the season, which is crazy, which is cool though, because
yeah.
everyone screenshotted the standings this morning. I mean, it's
Mhm.
it's second nature when when you have a team this. I remember, I think it was a couple years ago when the Pelicans started 5-0 before Anthony
Yeah.
decided to end all that with the requesting a trade, and everyone's like, "Oh, look at that, we're
Yes.
number one in the win the West." And even after we got to a decent start with Stan Van Gundy, and it was like, "Look at the standings." I think it's like we're 3-1, and then so hopefully this one goes better than the last time we've been screenshotting where we are in the standings. But
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
this is
typically I would
definitely a
look,
different ball
but
club. Yeah,
yeah,
but now you're looking at like everyone after the game last night was like, "Ooh, Suns are
everyone,
playing the Celtics. Let's go see that." And then you look and they're
everyone.
down 40. You're like, "All right."
What was that about? Are the Celtics just that good, or are the Suns just really, really struggling right now?
I think a little bit of both. I think the Celtics are, they're that team that this has a really good shot at going back to the NBA Finals, and
Yeah,
they have a coach that they really like. It seems like they haven't missed a beat
they haven't.
with their new coach. And the Suns, I think, are just trying to get by right now with dealing with Chris Paul's injury, the
Hmm.
Jay Crowder situation. You're out with Cam Johnson. That
Yeah.
this is going to be a little different look, and I think you're going to see a very hungry not Suns team, a very hungry Pelicans team these
Hmm.
next couple days, thinking that this probably, I don't know, this might not make sense, but I think this is going to mean more for the Pelicans than it is the Suns because of the playoffs last year,
Definitely.
but also where the Pelicans are in the standings. But I think that's a good thing. That's the right mentality to have, and hopefully that means that you can at least, like you mentioned, either split the series at home or take two. There's no
Hmm.
reason why you shouldn't go in there thinking we can get both of these games.
Yeah, I think I try to temper my expectations a little bit. Everyone's like, "Yeah, we're gonna win them both," and I'm just like, "Well, the Suns are really good.
Yeah.
Anything can happen on any night. Like we could go out there and smack those guys by 30, and then we could end up losing by 10 the next game, or vice versa. You just really never know. So, yeah, I still don't see any reason why we can't take a game or two against them. It's not gonna be easy. We that Detroit team, they have a terrible record, but they didn't just lay down and let us walk
No,
all over them last night. And so I'm glad that the guys were able to hang on and win against a team that they're clearly better than. And that's just, signs of a good team.
for sure. Before we get out of here on this Thursday, since we didn't record earlier this week, Jose Alvarado's 38 points the other day.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh. Where was that,
Yeah.
Jose? Where did that come
I
from?
was shook. I'm still shook. That was so much fun. And it was so loud. And, we really wanted him to get that last bucket and get to 40, but, they took him out so he can get that proper ovation. But it was funny. I was watching Larry because Larry had just gone out and I'm looking at him and he's pointing at people and he's just like, like when he comes out, make some noise,
Mhm.
And so then they take Jose out and it's just, it might have been the loudest point all night in there, but that was so, so, so cool to see an undrafted guy go out there coming off the bench and hit what 8 3-pointers I think he
Yeah.
made 38 points. That was sick in the best way.
And it shows, what everyone talked about in the offseason that Jose wanted to work on his 3-point shooting because we talk about his size, but that really doesn't matter anymore because he's got the grit, he's got the defensive will, and he's got the energy that if he
Yeah.
just has a little bit of a shot, you have to kind of keep an eye on him. And now you do a little bit at three because they're still leaving him open from beyond the arc. And
Yeah.
especially when you're double teaming Zion and BI, that Jose's going to be open. And one of the threes that stuck out to me was an outlet pass, I believe, from Graham to
Mhm.
Jose, and in stride, he could have had a fast break, went to rim,
Yeah.
right wing, popped it, and rinsed it. And I was like, that's when I knew that Jose was on a different level as far as his confidence in his shooting. And that's when I feel like he was having a great night. But that's such a
Yeah.
difference from what it was last year, where
It
you were
is.
okay if like he finished with 5 points because that's not really what he was in there to do.
Mhm.
Now you expect a little bit more that when he comes in, he's not just bringing the defensive intensity, he's also bringing the offensive intensity and also bringing a better shot with him. And so I feel like you add that to his arsenal.
Yeah.
It's crazy how good he can be, and already how important of a piece he is, and that's why last night you just held your breath, and he was holding his breath because he hurt his ribs.
Man,
But man, you were just
scary.
praying that it was okay, and luckily X-rays came out negative, which is
Yeah.
good. And so he might be day to day, but knowing him, he's probably going to Coach Green going, "I'm already playing Friday, whether you like it or not. So don't try to keep me out. You want to probably go back in yesterday."
Right. Not only does he want to play, he wants to start. He's going to be like, Dyson, I know you got a couple starts under your belt, but I need to get at Chris Paul
I was
right
about to
now.
say Chris Paul's back. And what's funny is his injury's been a heel, and he's a heel of the
Yeah.
Pelicans right now. So I feel like it
Yeah.
kind of works out a little bit. Jose, Chris Paul made me
Oh,
like, I think that heel might act up again a little bit because Jose's gonna be
maybe.
guarding him 94 feet.
Oh, he's gonna tire him out for sure. And I hope it's not one of those things where, Chris Paul's out there and he's kind of just, doing whatever, and then he tries to turn it on in the fourth. Like
Yeah.
don't even let him get that far. So we'll have Jose on him, and if not, go ahead and throw Dyson on him. Maybe Herb will be back. I have no idea, man. I have no idea. I don't see any sort of like return timetable for him or BI, but I just, even though we're doing great without the missing guys, I still want the missing
Yeah.
guys to play. Like, I
And
need the healthy
you need
games.
them. And you need them
Yeah,
against these teams too.
for
So
sure. That's our
um
thing. Get healthy, but stay healthy.
yeah, that's the name of the game. Merle, anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
I think that's it. I'll see you guys out there this weekend. I'm still doing Who's That Bird. The players are getting harder because people complain that it was too easy, and now people are like, "Oh no, I'm afraid. I don't want to play." So don't be afraid. It's just a good time. I'm probably gonna be hanging out outside of the Jameson bar. Come see me. Say what's up.
Will we play on this podcast so I can participate since we have YouTube? Because I unofficially played when I saw you last Monday, and I got
Oh,
everyone
that's right.
right. I just want to let you know I got everyone right. It took me a little bit with John Salmons. Luckily, there was no
That was the
timer.
easy round too. That was the easy
That was the
round.
easy round. John Salmons threw me for a loop because I was like, it was kind of like Dumb and Dumber, like slip, swappy, Sammy, Samsonite, Salmons. So
Samsonite.
I want to. I want to play. I know they're getting harder. So
We
if
got to
you can
figure
just
out a way.
throw
We
them
can
out,
screen share on
just
here,
hold the
right?
index. You can
Yeah.
just put them on an index card, hold them
Just
up.
hold the phone.
Yeah, exactly. Just hold it on your phone. Do it like that. No,
Oh
we'll play. Who's that
man.
bird on the podcast?
That's
Sounds good.
nuts. We can do it now. I got 2 minutes.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Let's
Hold them
see.
up.
I'll do, I don't know. I don't know which ones you've seen. I'll go ahead and do the last 5 that I did from last night.
Okay.
Who's that?
Oh, that's Franklin Jackson right there.
It's not though.
Hold on. It's Brian. No, Brian Roberts. Brian
Yeah,
Roberts.
it's
Okay.
Brian Roberts.
You kind of look like
Multiple
Frank.
people. I never really thought he looked like Frank until last night. Everyone's like, he looks like Frank Jackson, but that's not Frank Jackson. That's amazing. Who's that?
The Steamer, Greg Steamsma, the guy that had more fouls than points in the season with us. Oh, did I say that?
What about this gentleman?
Oh, that's Jason Smith.
Yeah, that picture doesn't look like him so much.
I know.
It's weird. This one, I don't think anyone got this one last night.
That's Lance Thomas.
It is. And the last one.
Oh, that's Jeff Withey.
Jeff Whitey.
Jeff Whitey. Okay, you gotta let me have Brian Roberts because at least I got him after the fact that I jumped and reacted to Frank Jackson.
You did. It's not like a try once and then you miss and that's it. Okay. You got it. You're 5 for 5.
Let's go. Make him harder, awesome. Rel. I'm ready.
I don't know if I can make him any harder than that. I might have to go further back.
You gotta go find some Jerome Dyson and a Squeaky Johnson.
Find some Hornets.
Yeah, find some Hornets, some Gravis Vasquez in there.
Oh my gosh!
I have 10 years worth of random players on 10-day contracts that we can go through.
You killed it. If there's anyone who can get all of these guys, it should definitely be you. I caught Jake Madison slipping the other day because I think he didn't get John Salmons. That was funny. That was a good time.
That's a tough one. That's probably one of the toughest ones you've had is John Salmons. But
pat myself on the back.
An important part of Pelicans history is John Salmons.
He came into my old job one time at the Jamba Juice, and I think I tried to like say something about the Pelicans, and he's just kind of like straight face, like, yeah, no, I don't want to talk about it.
He was like that too the whole time. Yeah. So it wasn't
have a great day. Sorry to bother you.
Yeah. Sorry, sir. All right, move on here.
That's awesome.
Good stuff. Well, I'm glad we got to play Who's That Bird here on Pels and Whistles. We'll have to do it again. Good luck to all those that face Rel in the Smoothie King Center. Remember, that's not Frank Jackson. I'm giving you a cheat. That's not Frank
Yeah.
Jackson. I look just like him too.
Yeah.
Look
And
just
last
like him.
night
There's
I
like,
only had 2 contestants last night with that round of players. So anyone who watches this episode, I'm gonna use these same players on Friday,
yeah.
and
So
you'll
you have a
have an
cheat sheet.
advantage
It's
if
like
you're
giving you the answers
yeah,
to the test
exactly. So if
during
you're not
finals week.
listening to Pels and Whistles, I'm gonna know because you didn't get the players right.
Yeah. Well, we'll be back. We're working on a guest that involves the Phoenix Suns. So if we can get
Mhm.
that, maybe tomorrow there's another one. But if not, then maybe we'll wait and maybe do a recap with this person on Monday since the
Yeah.
Suns are in town for the next couple of games. But enjoy the ride right now. Hopefully, this is a longer than a 5-game winning streak when we talk again. And apologize again for the lack of shows this week, but we are back. I feel like I'm back to normal. Well, I'm never normal, but sort of back to normal as we can. Rel's always ready to go. I'm the problem here.
Yeah. I'm
Rel
ready.
stays ready, so she
Yeah.
doesn't get ready. So she's ready to go. Rel,
That's a
I
fact.
appreciate. Yeah, that's a fact. Rel, enjoy the games this weekend. Tell your wife happy birthday, and bring
Thank
back a
you.
couple wins. And I'll expect you in that hat come next week, or maybe even tomorrow before another show.
Yeah, let's do it. Go Pels.
Don't forget, you can listen to this podcast wherever you find your podcast. There are about 15 different ways I've seen that you can listen to this podcast. There are people in over 12 countries listening to this podcast, so don't miss out. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, plenty more, Stitcher, of course, the Believe Network, which is now on TuneIn, Believe Network Radio, which will have all of your podcasts, including this one. And until next time, for Rel, I'm Daniel. Thanks for listening to Pels and Whistles right here on the Believe Network.